Yeah, hey everybody, hey everyone, hey everyone. I am back with another live. This is not a lecture. This is just a live video of me giving my commentary, me giving my analysis of my opinion about the recent news that's surrounding JJ Redick. He's the new, if you haven't heard, he's the new head coach for the Lakers. Ex-player, played for 15 years, played at Duke, and allegations are coming out about him. So I wanted to address those, but I'm going to address it in terms of reading an article because I like to have things that are put into a sequential order. I like for things to be logical in my mind. I don't want to rant on here and just a bunch of a bunch of opinions that are not funneled in a specific direction. So I think that while I'm reading an article, I can respond to the article and give my 2 cents to the article as I'm reading it. And the article by default is written in logical sequence and logical rationale. So my response to the article should follow suit. So I don't want to have my comments and statements going all over the place. So and you guys may be shocked at the lighting in here is horrible. And I need to fix that. It looks so dim in here. You guys may be shocked at the take that I'm gonna have, being that I'm a melanated person, but like I said, I'm an individual thinker. I don't think tribal. I don't think in groups. I think individually. I think and it doesn't mean that you have to agree with what I think. It just means that you at least have to consider it and respect it as I would do yours. Um, I don't like to always make things a black and a white thing in terms of race. Now, there are certain racial components that cannot be denied, but we have to be very careful not to always major on the minors, right? We can't always um, get funneled in and get sucked in and siphoned in into the hot button topics and get totally distracted of what the main agenda is. There's always an agenda that goes beneath the surface, right? The surface stuff everybody can see. And I'm never concerned about surface stuff. Surface content doesn't bother me. It's what's it's the hidden agendas that are not unveiled. It's the things that you don't see that you need to be concerned about. The things that are readily given to you aren't going to be the problem because that's what they want you to see. But out of allowing you to be open to the things that they want you to see, they're also allowing you to see those things in order to slant thoughts, to slant opinions, to create talking points, to create narratives, and to put people back into the tribal element of black and white, going back to the race. And I think that is pretty sad as hell that we are in 2024 and certain racial things still bother us. And I think that it comes to a point we have to get the F over it, but I don't think we ever will because somehow, some way, this mainstream matrix machine that's that does an incredible job of brainwashing and systemically indoctrinating people has done a masterful job at keeping people stagnant. We can never grow, we can never innovate, we can never collaborate and come together. We're constantly stuck on race. And I think as long as we remain stuck in that cipher, in that racial element, we're always going to be divided. And because we're always going to be divided, we'll be easily conquered. I'm gonna give everybody a couple of minutes to get on in here, um, and I'm gonna switch and go to the article in a second. Actually, I'm gonna go to it right now before I begin. Yes, you guys can see you guys you're in, Um, and I will stop the sharing and just read the article for what it visuals just won't be there. Okay, and any of you guys know how title to see if the title is objectivity or emotional response. The title written to emotional, it's more of entertainment. It's down now. This title. So if I can blue, I'm glitching too much, and I'll stop sharing if I'm okay. good. I don't have it now, so I'm not really, but I'm a bit of, but I hope that the delay is not that you guys can't understand what I'm saying. So man, there's so much access on this, and I'm trying to X out on some of these. Okay, let me begin. Right. I've highlighted coach JJ Redick is accused of calling African American women the N-word in early ex Blue Devil star denies claim. Oh, read this title, see by any citation, emotional response. Now, there's the N-word. I think N-word creates an emotional response to speak tied to that statement that the ex Blue Devils, Duke Blue Devil, JJ Redick, that's all it says. There's nothing there that's written in the lore of trying to emotional. I would consider an objective. So that's going well. All right. Okay. Here. All right. It says Lakers coach Redick accused of the American woman while attending Duke in the early. Now let me stop there. I'm gonna just be honest and tell you guys how I feel about that. Let me make sure I have this on. Then how I feel about it. All right. It says Lakers head coach JJ Redick is N-word at an African thousands. Do you know how old he was back then? And that's not me excusing the things that when I was young, excuse the behavior, but we have to take it in context. Have I called some white people before? Of course. Has it been put in the straight body to critique and dissect it? No. It happened privately. Okay. Now, and that's what happens in life. Whenever the hyenas at the bottom nip your feet you down to pull up things from, hey, this guy's not credible. This guy shouldn't be hired. This guy character. We JJ Redick today in 2020. JJ Redick was back then while he devil in the early 2000s. Do you know how old he was back then? Or if he called anybody an N-word. I don't care if he called me an N-word. I don't care if he called another African American or a black an N-word. Damn about the N-word. And I find it ironic. I think people, once we stop using the N-word this way, people about using the N-word, how about we stop using it? But then you hear the term, well, we use it different endearment. Okay. Now you're playing with some N-word term of endearment. Then it's powerful to turn of say, okay, we're going to use N-word for endearment. But then when a white uses it, it's something that's bitter and it's some hate, right? I so use that in all a term of endearment. As myself to my brother and say N-word, that's their way of having their endearment. If they're upset with a black, use the most hateful term that they can think of, which is the just does something to me and I act out and stupid idiot, and I call somebody a stupid idiot. That's the first thing that comes to my anger. When a lot of them, when they're angry, they know what to get at the melanated person or a black person. They know what to use to elicit. It's intentionally. Does it mean that he's a racist? No. It doesn't mean that he knew what he wanted. He wanted to cut. So I don't care if people are like, oh my God, word. We as a people, we give. You are what you're to. You are what you answer to. If we never gave the N-word any word ended up be potency, it'll be completely impotent. No one would give a damn about the word. But every time someone uses it, especially a person of a pale race, the Caucasian race, oh, he used the N-word. You guys are clowns. Like I see you back, especially back then in 2000. You see, I have to measure JJ Redick in the same way in my early 2000s. I can't be hypocritical. I need to bring out the proverbial speak, metaphorically, to say, hey, I'm gonna nail you to the cross, JJ Redick. When I know my own life in the early crazy things that I'm not proud of, made some stupid ways. So I'm not. Who cares? And to me, this seems very infantile, and people are too. People are going to say he's a racist. We throw out the term race and we use the N-word too much. Our word too much. Play the race card when it's not for the man out. That back then played with black players. He has a podcast with LeBron James, who's a black. He works alongside Stephen A. Smith when he was doing First Take. And if he is a closet racist, I don't care as long as he's not doing anything harming anybody. Like he called the lady N-word. He didn't grape her. Pursue sexually and harassed her. He didn't do anything. He used a term that he knew. And I'm saying he used the term. But now you think, is he supposed to, in lieu of him being hired, is it wise for be? No, it wouldn't be wise for him to be truthful. It'll be him to lie. But in this world we live in, I would, in an ideal world, I would look. Let me stop sharing. I think because it's glitching much here, I believe that I'm being choppy. So I'm gonna stop sharing as I'm commenting, but I'll bring back the article again once I'm done giving my. Okay, so I know he did it. I'm not an idiot. Of course he did. This is not the first time that I've heard something closely linked with JJ Redick and racism. Something with his father too back then while he was at Duke. There was some things coming out with some racial things that happened. I don't care. I don't care. Like it doesn't like what you put attention to, what you give energy to, will be the thing to engulf you. It will be the thing to encapsulate you in its orb. So if you continually put your mind state in the realm of race talk and race rhetoric, and you're always looking for those hot button topics like race and the N word, then that's what you're going to be encircled with. Like what you give energy to becomes the thing that overtakes you. I don't give energy to that. I already know how the majority of Caucasians think. So it's not a surprise if a Caucasian uses the N word. But I wouldn't be surprised if a melanated person called a Caucasian a cracker either. It's when we're angry, we use terms to cut deep. And most of the times when we're acting out emotionally or acting out in anger, we regret the behavior because we were acting off of impulse. Now, some people may say, well, yeah, when you're angry, that's who you really are. Yes, that's who you really are at that moment. Is that who you really are all the time? No. When somebody is drunk, all right, and their inhibitions are like gone, and they start talking loose at the lip, and people say, well, you were drunk. And the person says, well, I was drunk. I didn't really know what I was doing. Then somebody says, well, when you're drunk, your real self comes out. Yeah, their real self when they're drunk. We all have two sides to us, folks. Y'all need to get this idea out of your heads that people could be either good all the time or people are bad all the time. No, we are a complex organism. We are a complex species. We're very, very complex. There's so much intricacies that are involved in the human makeup and the human psyche and the human temperament. We're not all the way always good. We're not always bad either. But there's sometimes when we're doing things for our own benefit that may come across as something that's evil to somebody else. It depends on where your vantage point is, and it all depends upon perspective. Where are you at? So I'm not shocked that JJ Redick used that word. And am I shocked that he denied it? Hell no, I would deny it. You would too. We hold these people to a standard that we won't even live up to. Go back. JJ Redick is probably in his 40s, I believe. I believe he is. In the early 2000s, we're going to hold him accountable to something that he did in the early 2000s as using an N-word. He didn't kill anybody. He didn't force himself upon a woman. He didn't harass a woman. He didn't commit theft. He didn't do any of that. He used a word. And I know we've always heard the sticks and stones might break my bones, but words will never hurt me. But that has some truth. We allow words to hurt us because we've given words the power that it needs to hurt us. We infuse the gun with the bullets to shoot us. We infuse the gun with the bullets and pull the trigger to kill ourselves. We give the power to words to hurt ourselves. Who cares? Who cares? I don't give a damn if you use that word. So that's just the first section of the article. Let me go back to sharing, and hopefully this is not too much. All right. Section that I'm going to read right here. Right? In a social media post by entrepreneur Halime Nash, quote, I've only been called the N-word work with the basketball team, wrote Tuesday on X as coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What a world. Okay, yeah, what a world over it. Years ago. You've made advancements. I'm sure sharing so I can make sure that whatever I'm you guys are actually hearing it clearly. So I'm gonna. Okay, so after reading that, who cares? Yeah, so to me that sounds, I'm gonna be honest with you. When I what I infer from that is a woman who's like, wow, he's gotten a head coaching job. So what, he's never supposed to work? He's never supposed to use his talents to help out a basketball team. He's never supposed to use the knowledge that he has about the the game that he loved, that he played for so long. He can't coach, he can't do anything. He's just supposed to not advance in life. But you didn't say anything when he was working the finals. You didn't say anything when he was doing his podcast. All the years that he was in the NBA, you never mentioned anything about him calling you the N word while you were at Duke. Now, all of a sudden, he becomes the head coach for the Lakers. Now you feel fit. This is the right time to do it. So to me, the lady, Halima Nash, you come across as disingenuous yourself. You need to check your character. See, everybody, no one's above reproach here. No one is above criticism. See, we all act like there's always a victim and a perpetrator and everything, but sometimes it's more convoluted than that. It's more mixed and mashed up. You have sometimes you'll have the perpetrator who is a perpetrator who is also a victim in the same sense, and you'll have a victim who's a victim but also a perpetrator in the same sense. Yes, at the time when this happened, you can say that Halima Nash was the victim of a racial slur used by JJ Redick. But now, fast forward over 2 decades later, she's acting like a perpetrator. Now she is, because she sees that this guy just has an advancement. So because of the vitriol and all the things she's held on to, she feels fit now. She feels fit to say something now. This is the right time to say something. That's what she said. That's what the article says. She says Nash wrote Tuesday on X, and today, she said, quote, and today he was named the new head coach for Los Angeles Lakers. So that term, and today, it seems like after what he did to me, after what he said to me in the early 2000s, fast forward, all of a sudden, this same guy is going to be a coach for the Lakers? Yes, Salima. Why shouldn't he be? Why shouldn't he be? Because you're giving power to a word that he used. Have you ever called somebody out of their name? Have you ever used a racial slur against a particular race? And if you haven't, that's great. But majority of people have. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you human. He called you that because he was angry. All right. And I'm not saying it's not about him. I'm not saying JJ Redick is right. I'm just saying the idea that this guy just got a job as a head coach for the Los Angeles Lakers, and all of a sudden, stories of him using the N word about to this girl seems to be the main thing that's going around now, as if that's gonna, grab some airtime. And it is sort of grabbing airtime, but to me, it's much to do about nothing. It's not a big deal to me. All right, it's not a big deal to me. And she sounds a little bitter that, oh, he's the new Lakers head coach, so he's not supposed to be a Lakers head coach. So because he called you an N-word, were you supposed to still remain in your position that you were back then? Shouldn't you be given a chance to advance as well? He felt that you were the N-word. So did him calling you an N-word stop you from making any career advancements, Halima? No, it didn't. So neither should the N-word that he used back then be an indictment or play any role in his current career advancement today. So let's not bring it up now. You should have brought it up when he got drafted. You should have brought it up. You should have brought it up years ago. Like, I hate when this happens. It happens to a lot of men, a lot of people. Whenever someone gets a big jump in career, a big opportunity comes up, and that person takes full advantage of it. For some reason, it's like I don't know. Those that lurk in the shadows are just waiting to just draw you back down. And it happens all the time. It's like an automatic. It's like clockwork. It never fails. Okay, let me share the article again. I want you guys to see exactly what I'm reading. So I'm down here. All right. It says Redick named head coach of the Lakers earlier this week. So he's a 40-year-old man. I'm a man that's lived from your age, right? From the age of enlightenment. Like you're starting to be enlightened. Doesn't mean that you're enlightening yourself on things that are going to be beneficial to you, but you're enlightened. And those are just you're becoming. Your parents probably didn't let you know, but explore those things. By then you get into your young or you're learning. Then you're 30, but you start to look at the world a little differently. When you get to 40, you've already lived lives. So who JJ in the early 2000s is not the same JJ Redick. Am I excusing what he said? No. I'm just letting you know that that's just the way it is. It's no different than a kid, than a baby and pisses on them. So you're holding them accountable to a baby now that they're 20. It happens when we grow. We do stupid things. Now, do I know JJ Redick personally? No, I do not. Could he be a racist? Could he not be a racist? He'd be a racist, but I don't know that. My job is not to use, all right, public discourse and to then somebody that I do not know personally. I do know, I'll share as people, is that we've all done stupid things, and we should not be judged by the things that we've done in the past when we were younger. It's only fair, because if you're going to use JJ Redick, then people should also use that. It's only fair. Don't hold JJ Redick to a different bar. All right. So JJ Redick, 4-year-old head coach of the Lakers earlier this week. His agent spoke people to the dailymail.com's request for comment on tuning. However, a Redick spokesperson has denied the claim. TMZ. No, it never happened. I'm here to say it happened. You say, how do I know? I just know it happened. Like that Halima and the sheep, she stopped sharing so you guys can hear. She's not just making this up. All right, she's not just making this up. Yeah, it happened. Of course, they're going to deny it. And when it says neither his agent nor his spokesperson responded, they're not going to respond, because what you respond to, see, this is how you kill. This is how you kill an agenda. This is how you kill a seed that's planted. You kill the seed. You say, what do you mean by seed? Well, when the N-word was planted into the African-American community, and the African-American community starts to use it as a term of endearment, then all of a sudden we get angry when white people use it. We can kill it if we don't get mad when white people use it. That's how you kill the negative connotation with the word, by not giving attention to it. Here, JJ Redick and his spokesperson, they're not even going to give that story any time. They're going to just deny it and move on. Now, they sat there to have a press conference and talk about it. Now you're giving that story legs to stand on. Now you're giving that story arms. Now you're giving that story a head and a brain. Now you're giving that story a full-fledged body. Now you're giving that story armor and weaponry. See, what you feed something becomes the thing that takes over you. I said that earlier. We keep giving this word power. Like, who cares? The people, so you have 400 years of slavery. Do you know what that word means? We always want to live back then. I don't give a damn, dude. Like, look, white person, Mexican uses the word. I don't care. I was at the gym. Actually, I'll be honest with you guys. I was at the gym today, and I overheard it was two Hispanics, two Mexican guys. They were on I think they were doing the squats, and they were just talking, having a normal conversation. They were like, man, he used the N-word. He said, man, that ended this, that ended that. But I'm looking at them. They're not black skin like me, but they're using the term. It's part of their vocabulary. But guess what? If I was hypersensitive about that, I'd be like, oh my God, he's using the N-word. Like, we need to get over that. This is a clown story. And there are people out there that are taking this story like seriously. Like, oh my God, he used the N-word. Like, there are much worse things going on around the world, like child trafficking and proxy wars and people getting murdered for the wrong reasons, people getting accused of crimes they didn't commit. There are worse things going on. That's something that happened to some lady, some Halima Nash, something that happened to her years ago. This is her chance to get some notoriety as well on the back of JJ Redick getting a new job. That's how it works. That's how the universe works. So one person gets an advancement, and somebody else has to kind of pull on your coattail to to get your attention. And as he ascends, whoever's pulling at his coattail somewhat ascends. So I'm going to share this article. You're going to see a full-fledged picture of this lady, Halima. I think her name is last name is Nash, Halima Nash. I believe that's her name. The African-American lady that said that JJ Redick used the N-word. And I believe her. I don't think she's lying. This is not me saying that she's making it up. I said earlier, she's telling the truth, but you're going to deny it because we live in a world where you have to lie. I would love it if we lived in a world where he says, yeah, I used the word. So, yeah, that'll force all of us to be like, then what? Well, should he be fired now for something that he did in the early 2000s? Yeah, I said it. I was young. Have you guys ever used a racial slur? Have you guys ever, not even a racial slur, have you ever used a word that's been derogatory to anybody? We give that word way too much power, folks. Way too much power. You know what we've been through. At some point, guys, we have to move on. But I guess people don't want to move stagnant. All right. So I'm down here. I'm down here. This is her illustration here. Halima Nash. All right. Beautiful black queen. I have nothing against her. and I would lie too. I'm not JJ Redick a liar and make it seem like he's done it. We've all done promotion at your job, right? That's going to significantly way more money than you're getting paid now. Let's say it's a, relatively speaking, it's a $30,000 raise. I don't know. Let's say it's much more than you're getting right now. And there's some allegation of freshman, sophomore in college. It's something that, I mean, it's not something that you're going to be fired, but your job like today, like yesterday. Yeah, I did it. You got to tell the truth because God, Jesus says, be honest. No, I'm going to lie. I'm going to deny it. Because everyone's most genuine. Why is Halima Nash today coming out with this? Or not today, but why is she currently now coming out with this? Oh, I was called the N-word by him. There you go, man. That's a good-hearted person. Downright not good people. They're more evil good. Their motives are ill will. All right. They're far from good-hearted, but yet they get advancements all the time. The world is not fair. The world doesn't work on a metric where the good advance and the devolve. Anybody can get hit. You could be the nicest person in the world and get bad things happening to you all the damn time. The world doesn't work that way. All right. Along here. Nash, I've highlighted this. It says Nash has not responded to the dailymail.com's request for further information. So she's not giving any information. But then again, it's like, what more information does she need to give? I mean, maybe give the full case of, but what more does she need to say? All right, moving along here. It says, according to Nash's LinkedIn, she coordinated a Blue Devil youth project with Duke's basketball team 2003, 2004. Okay, so she was coordinating that. Good job. Here. Redick has been a coach fired Darvin Ham of Los Angeles, the former Duke star and sharpshooter. No, in fact, let me talk about the coaching experience. He has playing experience, and at this point, look at all the coaches that Lakers have hired. Let me stop sharing because I think there's too much of a lag here. Yeah, so now it's another. Go back to where I was. I'll stop sharing because I think there's way back here. See it. I could see the screen glitching a lot, so that's why I'm going to get off it. So yeah, so this idea, let's talk about that for a second. All right, according to Nash's LinkedIn page, okay, no, that's that. Okay, so it says Redick has been a controversial choice. Why is he a controversial choice? Why is that controversial? So like, why is it controversial? Why do we make a big deal out of everything? Lakers are within their own rights to hire anybody they feel like they want to hire. That's on them. They believe in JJ Redick. Not everything needs to come cookie cutter. Not everything happens in a vacuum. You have to apply context in everything. This man had played for 15 years. He played for Coach K. So he played for a great coach. He's been coached by good coaches. He knows the game. He's very intelligent. Dan Hurley played for Coach K. You see what he's doing. So he's a Coach K product. And I think that JJ Redick is going to be fine. He doesn't need to have 15 years of assistance coaching experience. And a lot of times people like to throw out the name Cassell out there and say, hey, well, Coach Cassell. But Coach Cassell may not want certain jobs. You don't ever see him coming out publicly crying out saying that, oh, no one wants to hire me to be a coach. Sometimes assistant coaches are fine being assistant coaches. They're looking for the perfect gig. They don't want to get the job where a team is horrible. We see that a lot of times where young African-American coaches, they get a team that's horrible. And after 3-4 seasons, they're fired. Then you end up you end up adopting that record on your resume. They'll say, well, yeah, his first time head coach, his first tenure at this team, he went, he was, he had a 35% winning percentage. And then that's attached to your resume forever. So whenever you're looking for jobs, they're like, well, he's not that good. Well, look at where he started. Do I believe that Steve Kerr is a better coach than Sam Cassell? No, not necessarily. I just think that Steve Kerr stepped into a great situation that was already created by Mark Jackson. Same thing if you look at the San Francisco 49ers. Remember when Singletary was the coach? He laid down the discipline. He was very structured. They fired him because the team wasn't doing so well. Then all of a sudden Harbaugh comes. Harbaugh adopts the hard work that Michael Singletary already established. Then all the praise and all the accolades goes to Harbaugh. That's the way sports works. So a lot of these assistant coaches are very intelligent. They're like, no, I want to adopt a team that has a chance to win because I don't give a damn how great of a coach you are. If you don't have the players in the NBA, you're not going to win. I don't give a damn what your X's and O's look like. X's and O's doesn't win you championships. Players do. Now, the X's and O's can accentuate their skill set, but X's and O's alone is not going to win you a damn championship. Like, stop that. You need players. William Edmondson, you say fake news. It could be, man. It could be. It could be. But the reason why I believe it, because there were stories around that time with JJ Redick with racial stuff and his dad and stuff like that. So I can see it being true, but I don't care. I personally don't care. And if you just came in, if you go back to the beginning where I started, you'll see that it doesn't bother me that he used the N-word at all. Chalet, you say, yes, growth can happen, but first you need to acknowledge what you did wrong. Yeah, he can acknowledge that personally. He doesn't need to acknowledge that publicly because what happened between him and Halima Nash happened privately. So he doesn't owe us anything. What JJ Redick does, he owes it to himself to acknowledge it and move on. But to come out publicly and say that's career suicide because now if he says that publicly, yeah, I use the N-word. Do you know what the LA media is going to do to him? There are a lot of people who don't even want him to be LA coach. They think that it's because he's buddy with LeBron James and it's not fair that he has no experience, that they could have moved in another direction. So no. I think that, yeah, but you are right. You do. Growth is good, but you need to acknowledge what you did that was wrong. But he doesn't owe us that. He owes it to himself. That's personal growth. I don't need to grow in front of you guys. He's a coach. He's like, I don't need to grow in front of you guys. I don't owe you guys anything. All right. So let me share. Hopefully, if I'm glitching bad, I'm going to just stop sharing. But I want to continue reading this article, and I want you guys to see the article as well as I'm reading it. All right. JJ Redick has been a controversial choice. The former Duke star and sharpshooting NBA guard, no coaching experience. So that's the controversy. He has no experience. He worked media, announcing games for ESPN, and even doing podcasts with Lakers LeBron James. Okay. This from down here. Redick has denied claims about the offer to Connecticut coach Dan Hurley. That's a lie too. You could tell a lie. I mean, damn. Let me get off of this here. What I'm saying. I think I'm glitching. That's a lie. Come on, that's a lie. You have LeBron James, who's arguably the best player in the NBA, or one of the best players in the NBA. Very influential. Okay, he may not be the best player now because he's on the back end of his career, but his influence is just as strong as if he was the best player in the NBA. So you're trying to tell me a guy who's literally gotten coaches fired because it's a players' league. We know what the NBA is about. It's not the NFL. The NBA, the players run the team. What the player wants goes. If the star player of the team wants a coach gone, management looks at it this way. Do we get rid of this star that comes once every decade? Or do we get rid of a coach and just plug in another guy that the star player wants? Well, the star player comes maybe once, twice a decade. Or maybe once every 2 decades. Who knows? But we could always get a coach. So this idea that Redick has denied having any contact with James. How can you deny having contact with LeBron James where you work a damn podcast with him, number one? And then it says about the coaching position. That's a damn lie. That's a damn lie. I could tell you how it goes. Let me paraphrase. Man, Darvin Ham's our coach, but he's going to be out of there. Oh, he is? That's JJ Redick. It is? Yeah, man. But hey, man, you can be our coach. I'll co-sign for you. Something to that effect went on. There's no way in hell. Okay, let me put it to you guys like this. if LeBron James did not like JJ Redick, number one, if he didn't like JJ Redick, they wouldn't do a podcast together. You don't do a podcast with somebody you hate. So, but let's hypothetically speaking, let's just use hypotheticals here, right? Let's just say JJ Redick, let's say JJ Redick and LeBron James didn't like each other, and LeBron James doesn't like JJ Redick. And he goes to management and says, hey, man, you can hire anybody you want. You can hire ex-players for Duke, whatever, but I do not want JJ Redick to coach this team. Do you think that Pelinka, you think they're still going to go hire JJ Redick? No. So the fact that they hired JJ Redick, knowing that JJ Redick and LeBron James worked a podcast together, it's implied that they get along because they work a podcast together. So they already know. They don't even have to go to LeBron James and ask him, are you okay with this coaching decision, LeBron James? It's by default, it shows that he'll be okay with it because he does a damn podcast with him. That's common sense. Have they discussed the coaching? Of course they have. You can sniff out a lie, guys. I know a lot of the times people say things, you want to believe what they say. No, if it doesn't make sense, it's a lie. So JJ Redick is lying. He's lied twice. He's lied about using the N-word, and he's lying about having talks with LeBron James about the coaching position. That's a lie. That's a lie. This is just another classic case of a Caucasian climbing up the corporate ladder on the back of a black man's back. Just like America was built on the hard work and labor of African Americans, here, melanated people, the Niji, the natural people, the indigenous people of this country, just like the country was built on their backs. I say their backs because I'm native Nigerian, so I can't claim that, but I'm their story. The natives were people who had skin color like me. So this is just a classic case of a clever man. I say clever, and I use that respectfully towards, I don't use that in a negative way. JJ Redick is clever. I'm going to get buddy with one of the best players in the NBA that plays for the number one brand in the NBA, or one of the number one brands in the NBA. I'm going to work my jelly. I'm going to work and communicate. He's a communication major. He knows how to navigate the realm of the social stratosphere and talk to whoever needs to talk to. I'm going to get real close to him to get what I want. A couple of years from now, LeBron is going to be gone. JJ's still going to be the Lakers coach. He gets what he wants. The podcast will be gone. So kudos to JJ Redick for being smart. And he's lying too. He's lying about the N-word and he's lying about this. Does it mean that I'm okay with it? No, it just makes him human, just like all of us. We've all lied as well. All right. Just like when Jesus said, for you Bible believers, remember, he who has not sinned cast the first freaking stone. So before we start casting stones at people, just go back and think about some of the things you've done before you cast stones. All right. Live keep buffering. Yeah, man, I'm gonna stop sharing. Hopefully, it's not buffering right now because I think it's when I share it does that. So I'm not gonna share it anymore. Thank you for letting me know that, LeVar. I'm gonna just read the article and not share it. All right. So then at the bottom it has Halima Nash. It has her her Twitter post. It says here she posted this on the 25th of June, which was yesterday, Tuesday. And it has 5.1 million views. She says, I've only been called the N-word to my face by a white man once in my life, and it was on the campus of Duke University while I was doing work with the basketball team. Okay? And today, he was named the new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. What a world. So what a world. Yeah, we live in a racial world. Yes. And we live in a racial divisive world. And that's what she's trying to get at. She's trying to say, what a world do we live in where we have a racist who gets a job? That's what she's implying. But I don't care because we all have racial tendencies in us. See, racist is you hating a person because of their race. Do we all implicitly have racial biases built in us subconsciously? Yes. Some of it is conscious, some of it is subconscious. Do we make racial classifications? We do it all the time. Comedians do it all the time. They come on the mic, they talk about a certain race of people that do certain things a certain way. Is that being racist? No, that's just called racial profiling, or that's called racial identity. Certain races have certain things that they do. JJ Redick at the time, when he was pissed the hell off at Halima, I don't know what happened. He used the N-word in her face to cut at her, to get her upset. Is that the way JJ Redick was raised? I believe so to a certain degree because his father had some racial stuff that happened with him too. But is JJ Redick the same person he was then that he is now? Probably not. But if he is, I don't care. That's the point. I'm not going to give JJ Redick and the N word that much power. JJ Redick is inferior to me. He can't stay underneath the sun as long as I can. He would burn before I burn. Actually, I won't burn. I'll accentuate. He'll melt. Okay? Athletically, our people are more dominant than theirs. So I don't want to get into a comparison here to make it like some racial war. But when you know yourself, Halima, when you know who you are, Halima Nash, that stuff wouldn't bother you years. Now it may have bothered you then because you were younger, but fast forward, why are you on X talking about this? Because you want to stir up this racial stuff. Because that's why you said, and today he was named the new head coach. So today he's not supposed to be the head coach because of what he did to you. You're not that important. Neither is he. That's the religious practice that our ancestors practiced. It was called the it wasn't even called a religion. It was practiced in Mayat. The law of reciprocity, the law of balancing things out, not being weighed down too heavy by one thing, but not being too, too careless with another thing. It was a balancing act. Yes, we know that word is not the best word to use, but have a light heart and just take it and just move on. You don't come back decades later and put this on X. Now everyone's like, oh, JJ Redick is a racist. But you're getting the response you want, Halima. Hopefully this works out for you. Okay, I'm going to continue to read on. It says on Monday, Redick said he didn't mind being the Lakers' second choice after Hurley turned the team down early this month. The reason why he doesn't mind being the second choice because he was always the first choice. I'm going to use my own critical thinking hat on and put my own critical thinking hat on. I believe that the Dan Hurley attempt was smoke and mirrors. There was no way that Dan Hurley was going to leave Connecticut to get paid $70 million while he can stay at Connecticut after winning 2 championships and work on trying to win a third one. Like, he's dominant there. If I'm going to leave there and come to LA, you're going to have to supplement my income and pay me a higher salary, a significantly higher salary than I'm getting paid at UConn. And that was not the case. So I think that pitch by the Lakers was just smoke and mirrors to make us as viewers think that JJ Redick was not really their first choice. No, JJ Redick was always their first choice because they are afraid of all the public flack that they would receive of not even considering other coaches and just going straight to JJ Redick, who's supposed to be controversial because he has no experience. To me, that doesn't make him controversial. What makes you controversial if you're committing crimes and you get a job and you're a felon or something like that? Because we know a lot of people who committed crimes who come out of prison can't get jobs. Like, stuff like that is controversial, not because he doesn't have any experience. So let's stop using words like controversial. There's nothing controversial about that at all. All right. So reading along here. On Monday, no, at no point was my ego. Okay, this is what JJ Redick said in quote. He said, at no point was my ego or feelings hurt, bruised, or in any kind of way. Yeah, your feelings weren't hurt, JJ, because you knew you were going to get the job. I'm a 2-time 55 Swiss League champion in the 3rd and 4th grade division. I understood. So he's kind of being tongue-in-cheek. If you guys didn't catch the interview, it's on social media. It's on YouTube. You can see the interview. He handled that press conference very well. I really think he did. So reading along here, it says he graduated Duke in 2006 before embarking on a successful NBA career with the Orlando Magic, Los Angeles Clippers, Philadelphia 76ers, New Orleans Pelicans, and Dallas Mavericks. And is that the article here? Yeah, that's it. The article ends. Yeah, so that's my take on it. It's not a big deal to me. Chalet says if the story has legs, the NBA and Lakers will need to decide if this is worth the headache. This the same league that forced Clippers owner out. You're absolutely right. But in this case, it's going to be worth the headache because they really want him. You see, when they really want somebody, your tolerance for certain things will be higher. And because he's young, he has the look, and his connection with LeBron James has some type of has some type of power there. And I don't think this is controversial enough for them to like not hire him. It's not dealing with anything that's sexual in nature. Yes, it's a derogatory term, but it's in context. Like it didn't happen like yesterday. Like if he got hired today and then he called somebody the N-word yesterday, then that's a problem. But you're going back to a kid that was in college. Like he graduated in 2006 from Duke. This happened in early 2000s. So he probably was maybe what, a freshman, sophomore. They're not going to hold that against him. I don't think so. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. So guys, that's my take. I don't it's not a big deal to me. We've all done stupid things when we were younger. I'm not going to give that word any. I'm tired of giving that word power, man. I don't give a damn like who uses it, man. Just as long as you're not physically trying to harm me or do anything like that, like we don't have a problem. Like just keep your hands and feet to yourself. When you start to get physical, then blood starts to shed. But apart from that, and they know that, Caucasians know that word gets to us. So they're going to use it whenever they're upset. They're like, what can I say to get this person upset? Oh, I know what. I'm going to go use that magic word. You nigger, you nigger, you nigger. And the way they say it too, right? They say it in a way where like, oh, you nigger. They don't say it like, hey, what's up, nigga? Nigga? Like when the term of endearment, the way that they say African Americans use it, hey, what's up, nigga? What's up, my nigga? You hear in a rap song, what's up, my nigga? Yeah, what's up, nigga? Yeah, nigga. Yeah. It's a certain way they say the dialect, the cadence, the way it's said, the way it's spoken. It's like, oh, what's up, my nigga? Oh, hey, what's up, man? What's up, man? You dab up, right? When a Caucasian is upset, get out my face, you nigger. They say it in a way you're like, what? You call me? But hey, it's the same word, it's just said differently. Same word, term of endearment, term of hate. So it's kind of funny that one is endearment, one is hate. Why not just use it? Just think of the word as a term of endearment, even if it's used by a white person. Train your mind to think of it that way. Because as long as you continue to have that, he used this word against me, then you're always going to be controlled by your oppressor. They're going to always use that word to kind of stimulate you and get some type of emotional response from you. And then the politicians will always use those racial elements to divide us, to get us to vote in certain ways, to get us to be divided. And here we go in that cycle, that cipher stupidity where we never grow out of the civil rights stuff. We continue to remain back there. We never evolve. But because we keep giving the power to that word. The minute we stop giving that word power and we ignore it, then it loses its value. All right? Yeah, you're right. You're right. We all have prejudices, not racist thoughts. There's a huge difference. But hey, but you know what? I'll be honest with you. If I know that a white person is racist and they have like racist thoughts, then my natural inclination, I'll be honest with you, is to be racist back. It's a defense mechanism. Do I always remain in that racial lane all the time? No, I do not. But in the heat of the moment, I'll jump to my racial because we can go there. You want to go racist? I can go racist. All right. You want a racial profile? I can racial profile too. All right. You have certain prejudices. I have certain prejudices. So it goes both ways. But I get what you're saying, Chalet. But to remain in that space all the time, that's a problem. You can't remain in that space. I always believe that everything happens in balance. I believe that all things are good. They work out for good because we're all human. We all have susceptibilities to fall into low negative vibrations, but we also have the ability to operate in high frequencies and high vibrations as well. The job and the complexity and the challenge to use both to evolve you because the other parts are going to be there, but how are we going to use both elements to grow? All right. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you a couple of guys for chiming in. And I'm sorry for the problem earlier with the glitching. No one's at home right now because no one was streaming. Usually when my daughter or my wife and my son are like streaming, like watching Disney or Netflix, the service is kind of slow, but no one's at home. So I figured that I'll be okay, but I still had some buffering going on. So I'm sorry about that earlier. And thank you guys for listening. And I'll be back with another video at another time. Appreciate you guys. Leave a comment. Tell me what you guys think. All right. Bye.